Welcome to another episode of You Ask, I Answer. Today, Christopher asks, went to Social Media Marketing World this past year, attended your presentation. In my professional role, I'm pulling the necessary data to create a similar to-do action calendar. Curious if you can give me some additional tips and tricks to amateurs, especially when matching or selecting dates to map out actions. It's a good question, Christopher, and the tough part is that the material I presented at Social Media Marketing World was specifically around predictive analytics, which requires, as you mentioned in another part of your note, some of those coding skills in order to do it well. However, there are some basic things you can do to prepare for this and to have an action plan sooner rather than later. The first and most important thing is you need to have mapped out your marketing operations funnel. So from the moment that you have a first contact with a customer to the moment that they buy something, how long does that take? For some products and services, for like a pack of chewing gum, for example, this may take seconds, right? So a child sees it at the end of the rack, they yell at their parent, the parent goes and buys it, and it may be a purchase cycle that is less seconds. On the other hand, if you're selling, say, Gulfstream airplanes or large commercial buildings, you can have a 10-year sales cycle depending on how things go. So you need to have that mapped out first. How long is it going to take you to get from contact to purchase? And for every business, it's going to be different. B2B businesses, 30, 90, 120, 300 days, you don't know. Once you know how long that moving window is, then even if you don't have access to predictive analytics software, you can still do generalized predictions. So, for example, if you were to take 2 years worth of your sales data and map it on, put it into something like Tableau or Excel or IBM Watson Analytics, you say, what month do sales peak, right? And that's something that you can determine from past performance. And as long as your company is performing similarly, you say, okay, we know September is our month. That's the month we got to sell stuff. So now you have your target. This is the date that you know things are going to be hot, and you have your sales cycle. You know how long it's going to take you to get to the point where those things closed. Depending on your data, you may end up saying, okay, so if September is our month, based on past data, and our sales cycle is 90 days, that means we need to be aggressively marketing in May and early June of every year so that we hit that window. And so that's, I would say, at a monthly level, generally what's going to happen. And that's still like way ahead of 90%, 95% of the people who are out there who are just doing no planning whatsoever, or they're just throwing darts at things. Beyond that, yeah, you'll need the predictive analytics software, but even that level of planning is really good to do. The other thing I would suggest doing is use the path analysis within Google Analytics at a channel level and see, at the very least, from contact to Google goal completion, assuming your goals are set up correctly, to figure out, okay, well, do different channels convert at different rates? And that will give you the ability to understand, should you be doing less or more during certain time periods? I would also look at the assisted conversions report in Google Analytics, because that will tell you what channels are helping conversions more than being the last touch, and that you can sort of piece together a very basic customer journey. So now you have the sales cycle, which involves your customer path to purchase, and you have your target date. So you can say, in the first 4 weeks, the first third of our customer journey, we know we've got to have display, paid search, generic paid search, and social media working for us. And in the middle, we got to have referral and public relations and retargeting. At the end, we got to have email and web pixel-based retargeting. And that will give you that sort of rough operational map. It's not perfect, and it's by no means as granular as predictive software, but that's still a really good place to start, and it's still really way more than the average person's going to do. So give that a try. And then if you want, feel free to hit us up to ask us about actually running the predictive software for you. So that's the short version. Hopefully, Christopher answered your questions. Thank you, everyone who's watching You Ask, I Answer. Feel free to submit your questions on the website, and we'll answer them as we get to each one. We'll answer each one. It's a lot of fun. Please also subscribe to the YouTube channel and to the newsletter, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.